So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to BWTM Sports. I have with me the WBC #1 mandatory challenger for the heavyweight championship of the world, Bermane Stiverne. Bermane, how are you doing?
I'm great.
So, will it happen? Won't it happen? So many stories, so many rumours. Tell us what really is the latest news.
The latest news is I decided to, I can't say but that was a decision that was made. Me and my team to step aside and allow Wilder to fight whoever he wants to fight, and I will feature on the same card as him, the co-main event. And as of for now, I will be fighting Dominic Breazeale.
Okay, so the deal is there. So should you go ahead and be victorious and beat Dominic Breazeale, does that mean that you still remain #1 contender, or how does that work?
Everything remains the same, as the #1 and my status as being the mandatory challenger.
Okay, I know there's been you've copped a lot of stick for being #1 challenger. What have you done to earn the position? We've been there before. The whole situation now with the Showtime not wanting to see you and Wilder fight, was that part of the reason why you took the step aside money? Or was it just a financial
deal? No, not at all. Not at all. Showtime, nobody had anything to do with that. It was a decision that was made with Jay Prince and Josh Dubin and myself. First thing first was the fight for the title.
Okay.
But the decision was made based on what's good for my career. Okay. And I didn't want to make a decision based on my emotions, or because if I would go with my emotions, it would go straight for the title. Yeah. It was a question that James asked me is if I was fighting anybody else, would I take a step aside money and step aside and fight somebody else? And I said, yeah, I would take a tune-up fight, and before I fight. Basically, he asked me if it was Joshua, would I take a tune-up fight before I fight Joshua? And I said, yes, I would.
Okay. And
then he asked me, would I do the same thing for Wilder? And I said, no, I wouldn't. So it was. We all know what the history is. So it made sense. It made sense to what they were telling me. But at the end of the day, it was a decision that we all wanted to fight for the title. But it's not about going in there and knock somebody out. It's also how I look.
So, did you feel pressured at all because of previous questions being asked of you why you should be fighting as mandatory when you haven't fought anybody in 2 years? Did you feel that it was necessary for you to have a warm-up fight before you fought Wilder?
When you think about it, yeah. I just felt like, I could. We fought before, and I feel like he hasn't improved since we fought. And it's not somebody I did know. And I know him like the back of my hand, and that's why I felt like I didn't need a title fight.
Right.
You know, but a title fight. Logically speaking, would be the most. The best scenario for my career. But for my personal issues, is it would be the worst thing to do.
Right. I mean, I'm kind of stunned because how you're feeling leading up to everything, all the training, all the preparation for Wilder, almost, and you were gung ho. You wanted Wilder, and now you've kind of taken a step aside. People would say the question to you, well, Bermane, why didn't you take the step aside of money earlier and then allow Wilder to fight? And why was there so much of a delay? That's what people would ask. But
well, it was at a time when the delay is not my fault.
Right.
I was this was going on since his last fight. I think it was February 6th.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So I've been notified since February. And all I did was, as soon as I was notified, I was already training, and I decided to head into camp around the time. And it took months, weeks, before, and I think it was a purse bid was called,
Yeah.
And that's at one point, I was just like the public, wondering what was going on, and trying to figure out what was taking so long. And every week it was same answers, and then maybe I would say maybe 2 months ago, they finally came out with the TV and all the other issues, which I didn't really care for the TV. All I really wanted to do was fight for the title one more time. And we all know that I understand that the TV plays a major role when it comes to a fight like these.
Right.
So it's not really something that I can make happen. Because if it was up to me, it would have happened a long time ago. But I don't have that kind of power.
Right. Okay. So the talk in the town has been about Deontay Wilder facing Luis Ortiz. Now, in negotiation with step aside money for yourself, was it a decision where Wilder had to decide whether he faced you or faced Ortiz? Because Wilder hasn't made a mandatory defense yet, and if he fought Luis Ortiz, it would be a voluntary defense. Do you see that fight happening? And if so, if not, why not?
Me, I always said that, at first when that came out, basically what I'm saying is all that him fighting Ortiz, I don't believe it. I just think it was just some hype thing, a promotion. I still don't believe that he will fight. Ortiz. Wilder's not that kind of fighter that would take on big fight or tough fights.
But surely he's in a position now where he has to fight Ortiz, because people are saying, well, if you're not going to fight, then
but I don't really think so, because Ortiz is in a good position right now, where he is number 2 in WBC, and he's mandatory IBF or WBA. So the smarter thing for him to do would fight Joshua.
Right.
Because he is Joshua's mandatory for WBA. and Pulev is IBF.
I believe that's going to be Pulev next.
The smarter route to take for Ortiz would go and pursue Joshua for the WBA, and also for the money. It's a bigger purse. There's more money for him fighting Joshua than fighting Wilder.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't even think that was true. I'd be shocked if Wilder ends up fighting Ortiz. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it was all a lie. Just a way to for him to be relevant.
So if you were going to be a betting man, who do you think Wilder would fight instead? Would you see maybe a Tony Bellew fight, or maybe
anybody that he's for sure going to beat, of course.
But how?
He has a couple defenses, and is guys like Molina. He fought Areola that had no business being in the ring at that time. Who else he fight? Spilka.
Yeah, Spilka. Washington.
The only one that did something, really did anything was Gerald Washington. That was looking really, really good, and then got caught with the right hand, and that was it. I mean, he's not. They're being very, very careful with Wilder. So, like I said, man, I'll be shocked if the fight between him and Ortiz happen.
But
I don't see it.
There would be public pressure because clearly he's saying, I want to fight Ortiz. I'm not scared of fighting Ortiz. Now you're out of the way. There's no excuses.
Exactly. And watch what I say. They don't come up and say, well, Ortiz is another fight or something happened with Ortiz and he decided to go somewhere else, and then they're going to offer Wilder to fight. You know how that plays.
Yeah,
the public don't really know what's going on until this day. I still learn about boxing today. This experience I had with this event, I learned a lot of things, the past month.
Right.
And it's just that people, the public, all they see is what they put out there. Like, okay, this person will face this person, but there's so much behind closed doors that people don't see, don't hear. That a lot of people will be shocked.
Next question I'm going to ask you. I know it's a bit personal, but I'm going to ask it. Step aside money. You talked about, well, if they're going to pay me off, they're going to have to pay me handsomely. How handsome was it? Or can you give a roundabout figure? I'm going to ask you that question.
Well, listen, it's not. Can I say it's not about the money? What we do is that's our way to live and pay bills and put food on the table. It wasn't for the money, because like I told you, my first option, or what I really wanted to do, was to fight for the title.
Okay.
But this decision was made 100% for what's best for my career.
Right. So we understand now you're going to fight Dominic Breazeale for the title, for a warm-up fight. How do you see that fight going with yourself and Dominic Breazeale? And what does Breazeale bring to the table? And See what Joshua
Breazeale brings
trouble.
You know, so yeah, you could say so. After he fought, I think he had a good fight with Joshua, and you know, and also he fought Isu.
Yeah.
Went down and came back up, and you know, and got rid of Isu. You know, I think he's a solid opponent. I'm not fighting a chump or a bum. So, you know me, I'm all in when it comes to fight. You know, I always took risk in my career. So, not to say that he's a risk, but what I'm saying is you know, he's not technically a bum. So he's a well-ranked fighter. You know, I think he's like the top 10 or top 15. You know, he's a significant opponent.
Okay. Does that prepare you for Wilder? Height, reach? Is that what you were looking for?
I mean, I want to say the reach, when it comes to reach and how tall he is, yes, you know. But it's really about to get in the ring, and you know, even though I haven't been in the ring for more than a year and a half, I still don't think that I'm that rusty. But you know, we just want to make sure that you know, we good to go when we fight for the title.
Okay, so are you guaranteed after you win this fight to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world, the WBC heavyweight championship of the world? Is that guaranteed?
It was part of the deal.
Okay, but is part of the deal, is that part of the deal based on who the champion is at the time, or based on the fact if Wilder wins his next fight?
No, the part is who has the belt.
So no matter who has the belt, you fight that person next.
Yeah, and hopefully it's Mr. Wilder.
Would you step aside a game?
No, I won't.
So there'll be no
definitely that's a automatically no, like no chance. This is not something that will happen.
So it's not going to be Bermane step aside Stiverne. You won't.
No, never.
Never. So that was
never.
a one time then.
That's a one-time thing. It's not a multiple type thing. Is a one-time thing.
So those people that are out there that are celebrating probably now that they don't have to see Bermane Stiverne Wilder 2 for the moment, or do you have a message to them?
I didn't do it for them. This was not done for them. That's all I gotta say. It's done for my career, and you know, I still feel, you know, there's some decisions that you take for your career or for whatever you're doing. Sometimes there's a lot of decisions that you make that you don't understand right away.
Yep.
That will make sense to you later on in your career or whatever the hell you're doing. But this is one of them. You know, it was a tough decision, something that I didn't want to do, but I had to think of, you know, my career basically, and also it's not a decision that I made by myself. I mean, it was up to me. Whatever decision that I take, you know, they were gonna support me, but I also had to consult or talk to people that's around me that's here to advise me and go through these issues with details, you know. So I had a long time to think and talk with my team, and this is the best decision right now.
it's sort of, in some ways, it's sort of baffling because I'm thinking to myself, you're still going to be mandatory challenger. You haven't fought since you fought Derek Rossi. Well, you know you're waiting for Wilder. Could you not have fit in a Breazeale fight then, and then while all this waiting was going on, and kind of now be ready to fight Wilder? Because you could have had the Breazeale fight in between, still be number one contender, fought the Breazeale fight, won that fight, and then now be ready to fight Wilder. Because people would have seen you fight.
Right, but if I knew this was going to take all this time, things were going to things probably would have been way different.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to take that long, and apparently, TV, the problem with the issue with TV, and
So would there be more of a guarantee then, should you come through with Breazeale and Wilder come through with whoever his next opponent is, that at the end of the night, you two guys will basically face off and say, look, well, we are going to fight one another and TV will be interested? Or would you still be back to square one where TV's still not interested in the fight?
Interested. Can you repeat that for me, please?
What I mean is that at the end of the fight, I mean, obviously, you both the guys are fighting. Wilder is fighting on the same card as yourself. So at the end of that, you would be mandatory to fight Wilder anyway. So should you beat Breazeale and he comes for his fight, then would you guys automatically say, look, we're next to fight and that's that? Or would we have to go for another 12 months of tedious waiting for Wilder to sign a contract and this and that?
No. Everything is done. Everything is on, and it's also on paper. So it's not like he has a choice. Part of the agreement is on paper, and I agree to step aside, and for that to happen, he has to agree his terms as well.
So just to see, you fight Breazeale, you hold up your side of the deal, he holds up his side of the deal, and exactly after your Breazeale fight and his fight, you two will be meeting next year for the heavyweight championship of the world. That's what the score will be. Yeah,
that's basically what's happening. So I think it was within 6 months.
So basically, are we? What's the date? What's the date? What's the scheduled time around? Estimated time for you guys to be fighting next year? Are we looking springtime, or
no? Well, what was said was within 6 months after that date in November. After we both fight that same night in November.
So you're looking maybe May possibly.
April,
May?
From what I heard, it's that we have till April. Well, he has till April to defend his title against me.
So there'll be no messing around with that then.
No, they can't.
Okay, and when you did obviously you met together, did you manage to talk to Wilder over the phone, or was it just his representatives?
No, his representatives. His representative. I haven't spoke to anybody. The only person I was on the phone with, it was we were all on the phone. We were all on a conference call. It was me, my manager, Josh. It was Jay Prince.
Yeah.
Josh, DK, and Mauricio Suleiman. So.
Right.
And we all had a talk for hours, a few days. It took a few days. I know I said that it was supposed to be done
over the weekend. Yeah.
Over last weekend, but it took. There was a couple things that wasn't on display, and there was a couple things missing, and agreement, and then, but we finally got everything done, and at least I was only delayed for less than a week.
Okay. So November the 11th, you face Dominic Breazeale. Where is this going to be?
I have no idea. I'm guessing Vegas or New York.
Okay.
That's what I'm guessing.
Okay.
Also, I know that the date that Joshua had with Klitschko
Yes.
is still available, so that might be an option too. So.
Okay. And what about Joshua and Pulev? Do you think that fight's going to go ahead? And your thoughts on it?
I mean, that's just mandatory. You know, I don't know what's going to happen with the WBA, if they're going to strip him or wait, or you know, they have to consider that Joshua can't be two places at one time. You know, so that I'm guessing, you know, it should be. We should get rid of Pulev.
Okay. Would you ever consider the WBA route? Or is that a problem because you're mandatory number one contender? Could you fight for the WBA title?
I mean, right now, right now, I'm chasing that one fighter, which is Wilder. So, and he holds that belt.
Oh, so
but you know, it's always good to be an undisputed champion and have different belts. Of course it is. Okay. But you know, you got to start. You got to start. You know, step by step.
Okay. And how influential has Jay Prince been since he's come on board in terms of sealing the deal for you?
Excuse me?
How influential, how much influence has Jay Prince had in sealing the deal for you, for the step aside, for the fight with Breazeale? How would you have done that if he wasn't on board?
Oh, like the last big conversation that we had on the phone, and you told me that the thing that you heard about Jay Prince when he makes shit happen.
Yeah.
Well.
Yes.
You got your answer.
So you're happy with the shit that got handled?
Yeah, because it was handled with less than a month. As soon as he you know, see, a lot of people think that when the article came out that Wilder was fighting Ortiz, and then when that came out, and then right after that, it was said that I hired Jay Prince and all that.
Of course.
You know, people think that that's why I did that, but I was with Jay Prince. I was with Jay Prince before.
Absolutely, we know that.
I had Jay Prince as my manager way before that the article with Wilder and Ortiz came out.
Yeah.
And as soon as that came out, Jay Prince jumped on it, and we here less than a month after, and we got a deal.
And in closing, Luis Ortiz, what happens with him?
I have no idea. I don't know what's going on with him.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, I really don't believe that this fight will happen.
Okay. One fight that is going to happen this weekend in Vegas is Maymack, as you know. Any thoughts?
I mean, there's nothing really to think about. You know, we all know it's a mismatch. You know, we all know the outcome of what's going to happen. It's so amazing to see how people are behind a fighter that never boxing his life, and then also is really funny how, you know, is becoming like a racial thing.
Yeah, it is indeed.
You know, blacks against white, and you know, it's really funny. It's really funny to see how we got the best fighter in our generation, which is Floyd Mayweather, that break all kinds of records in his career and money wise, and he fights this UFC god, the MMA god, which is a white man, and it's so funny how everywhere I go, everywhere I drive or walk, there's a picture of him, you know, advertising beer, gum, diapers for baby. His pictures everywhere. So I'm just thinking, like, after everything that Floyd has done in boxing, and I've never seen Floyd on any billboard or having any kind of sponsor, should I say, or advertisement about him, and here come Conor McGregor out of nowhere, and his picture. I mean, I live in Vegas, right? I'm in Vegas right now, and everything you see is Conor McGregor. Right. But there's two men fighting in the ring, and the only thing you see around the city is Conor McGregor. That's not that don't even live here or being a citizen from out here. But then Floyd does the city. He lives here. He's been living here for more than 20 years, and you know he don't get the credit. I think it's really sad, disrespectful. Yeah. To me, it's disrespectful.
Oh, absolutely,
it's really disrespectful.
Oh, by the way, in your training camp for Dominic Breazeale, are you going to use any of the Conor McGregor training methods? It'd be quite funny.
That question will be answered after the fight.
What about the uppercuts? What did you think of his uppercut?
If chicken starts flying between today and Saturday, then you best believe Conor gonna beat Floyd, and that's when I'm gonna use his technique. It was quite interesting watching him training, but you know what? He talked his way to he can talk.
He can talk. And he can entertain. He's an entertainer. You've got to give him that.
Oh yeah, really, really, he is. And wow, I don't know. Put it like this: if he beats Floyd, I mean that means, but because in his head he believes that he's better than Pacquiao, better than Marquez, better than Berto, better than Canelo. So
doesn't
people really believe that. People really believe that he will. I would say some people really believe that he has
a chance.
A chance to win this fight.
And in closing, Terence Crawford, his remarkable performance, now undisputed champion. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, tremendous fighter, good fighter. You know, you don't get a lot of southpaws that can really do what he does. You know, I think he's underrated to me. Yeah. Very much underrated, and I believe that he should have a little more credit than they're giving him right now.
Absolutely. Bermane Stiverne, thank you so much for giving BWTM your exclusive time. Do you have a message for those people who have been listening in and tuning in and listening to your every word?
I finally stepped aside. I was named the bully and the fucking up boxing and this and that and
so now
the bad guy, the most hated boxer on the planet. hopefully I'll be the most lovable right now.
So you stepped aside and you're stepping aside and you're laughing all the way to the bank.
Well, right now, the step aside, I just want to let you know that this decision is not made to give any. It was made for my career. Nothing else. Nothing else is not made for. I love my fans. I love the fans. It's not made for the fans. It's made for me. It's made for my career. You know, it was a decision that was made. It was a team decision.
Bermane Stiverne.
Only for the best of my career. The best for my career.
Bermane Stiverne, thank you once again for talking to BWTM.
Always a pleasure.